Hey folks, welcome to the Go Loco podcast YouTube channel. My name is Adrian. I'm a level 9 local guide based here in Malaysia. I almost said Manchester there for a moment, but I'm based here in Malaysia, and I'm super thrilled to have you here today to watch a super awesome recording that I have. It's basically an interview of myself with Traci, who's the program manager for Local Guides program. And it's, in a sense, an exit interview because she is moving on from the Local Guides program and moving to a different team. And we'll explore all that and find out more about what's going on with her and what's going to happen with the Local Guides program. And also talk a bit about what has her journey been in the Local Guides program, and just kind of like really, enjoy the memories and just learn from her experience through there. So this is going to be a super duper scoop, I guess. And if you're new to if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the Go Loco podcast. It's the logo is flashing there. But yeah, so the Go Loco podcast YouTube channel is basically a channel that's all about the Local Guides program. It's by Local Guides, and basically I try to get local guides onto this platform and just interview them, and we talk about the Local Guides program, what they're passionate about, and what makes them tick, and just kind of stuff like that. So it's my goal on this is to try to encourage people to explore and give the Local Guides program a try, and hopefully they'll enjoy it and stay. So I hope you enjoy what you're seeing here. But today is a super duper recording of this. So I'm super thrilled to have Traci here with me. But before we get on to that, let's just play on the jingle and intro for this.
Go local with us, go local with adventure, your unofficial cast to all things local guides.
Yay! Welcome, Traci. Welcome to the channel. I'm so thrilled to have you here. And I'm also quite surprised that your boss let you go on this interview because I don't know, I might ask really weird questions. So
I would expect nothing less from you, Adrian, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. I've got a list of questions, tons of them actually. So what I did was that I went to Local Guides Connect, and that's the forum where all the local guides from all around the world go onto it, and they can post various stuff. And it's a great community sharing site. And I posted on it asking the community to ask questions that I could pass on in this interview. So I already actually had some initial questions to ask you, but I just chucked them all out, and I'm going to base it all on the community. So this list is not ordered in any way, and it's going to jump everywhere. But hopefully, I think the community is going to be really excited that I'm going to use all their questions in here. So yay, community.
Thank you.
So first off, for those, give us a little, like a snippet of what's happening. What's going to happen on the 16th of December?
Okay. So on the 16th of December, that is my last day on the Local Guides team. I've been on the team for 9 years and a couple of months from the very, very beginning. And the reason I'm leaving, and it's my last day on the team, and we have tons of fun activities planned just within the team, which is nice. I'm moving on to a new opportunity within Google. It was such a hard decision to make, but I decided it was time for a new challenge, and I think that it will give me really great experience to hopefully bring back to Google Maps and the community world in the future.
And
so do you want to hear where I'm going?
I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but I just want to wish you all the very best. And I'm sure that although we will miss you in the community, in the program, I'm just super excited for you and super happy that you're trying out new. I mean, we are humans, and we're always wanting to explore and try out new things. So it's only natural that you want to do that in your work as well. And I'm so happy that you're following your passions, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Adrian. It's certainly the hardest part of the decision was all of you. And I know as local guides, our work is never done, and that won't change for me. I'll still be on Connect. I will make sure I'm not constantly on Connect so that I can obviously fulfill the duties of my new role, which will be leading a new customer engagement program. That's all internal. And I'm actually going to be, I have the pleasure of, do you remember Jen Fitzpatrick, Google Maps' Senior Vice President? So she had left Google Maps a couple of years ago to lead this new organization called Core, which is all about making the products that Googlers use to deliver amazing products and features for you all, amazing for our customers and amazing internally. So that's going to be my new role. So I'm so excited to be under her leadership again too.
Yeah, I think I saw her, I don't know what you call it, her replacement at the Guidance Star announcement.
Yes, Chris Phillips. Yeah, Chris Phillips has amazing
He's got a
experience.
wedding ring. He's got a wedding ring.
Sorry, I do believe he's happily married. But yeah, Chris joined Google a couple of months ago and has been such an incredible leader from the start. So I know that under Chris's leadership, and of course the other amazing Googlers that work on maps and the Local Guides program, you all will be in great hands.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll bring a lot of new things to the program, and we're excited to see what's going to happen as well.
Me too.
So first question. Okay, this is coming from quite a few people here. So they're asking a lot very similar questions here. We have Shola for sure. I'm using the Connect ID. So Shola for sure, level 9 from the city of Port Harcourt in South Nigeria. Stephen Abraham, level 10 from Malaysia, and Doc_Dells from level 8 from Indonesia. They were basically asking the same question, and the question is, what's your most memorable or proudest or interesting or thrilling moment on Connect or Local Guides program?
This is such a hard question to answer because there are so many different moments, but I think I don't know, I always tell people whatever comes to mind first is the answer that you should stick with. So I'm going to say that it was our 2017 accessibility campaign. It started out as an idea and kind of an inspiration on a trip that I was on, and then it became a topic that we were focusing on for maps. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it wound up being so much bigger than I could ever have imagined because so many local guides, I think it was 12 million local guides participated and contributed 51 million pieces of accessibility information to maps. But most importantly, that was obviously a phenomenal result, right, for a campaign of that nature. But what was so great about that is folks like Emeka and everyone who's part of the One Accessibility Alliance and beyond, so many of you now care about accessibility and you've carried the torch. That's my proudest moment, that I've worked on things that I've brought to you all and you have then just run with it and done far more than I could ever have imagined. No, seriously, it is amazing to me because, you know, from a business perspective, of course, it's always better when someone else talks about how great something that you work on is. But more importantly, my passion has become your passion. And it's just so incredible to see that. And so I'm really proud of that.
So could we kind of say we'll etch that on your gravestone?
That's totally fine. I'll have to make sure it's really big though, because those are really big numbers.
Yeah, make it accessible.
Yes, and of course, yes, please.
Okay, so the next question is from Iori-kun 301. He's a level 9 from Indonesia, and he asks if there's one thing you regret that you did not get the chance to do or achieve on Connect, what would it be?
Okay, so this is a good one. I think, you know, so we know Connect has been around since 2016. We redesigned it in 2018. I don't know that I have any regrets because I always feel like there are lessons that you can learn from things that you're not able to do or things that you did and weren't so great. But one of the things that I wish we had been able to implement were more features that helped you all to find each other. And so that has been something that we've been focusing on a lot, of course, but due to privacy, restrictions and a whole bunch of other things, it wasn't always possible to do that. So it's my hope that sometime in the near future, that will be something that is easier to do on Connect. And I think if someone gave me all of the money in the world to figure out something, it would be that one particular area, which would be to make it easier for you all to find each other.
I know it's something that we constantly hear on the ground level. I don't know you call it. We constantly hear that as well. It's like, if only like we could easily find each other and easily not just find, but easily connect to that person and send a message, say like, hey, look, we're both local guys. We both like doing this. Could we not just meet up and do things together?
Yeah.
So I know that's always been one of our big requests. And I also understand it's a big undertaking to try to do that with all the privacy issues and also trying to make sure it's safe to be able to do a feature like that. So yeah, no, totally, yeah.
So that
That's
would
okay.
be that can also go on my headstone.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't. Sorry. I tried my best to reel in the trolling.
Please don't. That's the only way I know you, Adrian. I love it.
I know, but the rest of the viewers here would go like, "My God, he's like such a, I can't say the word now. He's such an evil person."
No, I think everyone knows you're not.
Okay, so the next question is from Omar Ali from level 9 from Pakistan. So he asked, how do you manage the hundreds of meetings that you must go through each month? And like you must have such a busy schedule. Like, how do you manage it all, and how do you keep yourself motivated each day?
I feel like everyone at Google has a lot of meetings each day. But I think a lot of people do. So I think for me, the biggest thing is over the years, I've learned that it's okay to set boundaries. So although I think the past couple of months, it's just gone out of the window with all of the projects I've been working on. However, what I usually do is I block alternating times on my calendar. So I won't take meetings Monday morning, Tuesday afternoon, and so on and so forth. But I also think it's important to understand when a meeting is important to go to and when it's not. There's so many memes that say this meeting could have been an email. So I think it's important to be able to recognize that, but to also know when you shouldn't back down from a meeting or decline a meeting, because a lot of things can just be handled so much better face to face. And I think we know that from just communicating in the Connect forum. Sometimes we're like, hey, is this person being mean? Or are they mad at me? Because so many things can come across in the written word. And I think the same thing goes for business meetings, right? You want to make sure that you're able to communicate effectively. So you really have to know when it is a perfect time to meet. So how do I manage it at the end of the day? I take lots of notes and I read all of the notes that I take, and I try to make decisions quickly so that we can move on and then iterate and revisit. So that's my style.
Just add on to that, are your meetings like short, or are they like, do you cap them to a certain time frame?
Yeah, I think so early on in the COVID days and pandemic, right? We're still in it, obviously, but I learned that the average person has an attention span of 40 minutes for virtual meetings. And my knee jerk was like, 40 minutes? That seems like a lot. I mean, obviously, if the content is engaging, but I don't know about you, but after 40 minutes, chances are I probably need a new beverage. I may need to run to the restroom. I may just need to stand up at my desk, which is what I'm doing right now. So I think it's important to to recognize that. But most meetings that I have are usually 25 minutes, which is nice because it gives you 5 minutes before your next meeting. But we very rarely have meetings that extend beyond an hour, because at that point, I think you need a different structure for a meeting if it's beyond an hour. I'm sure you have some experience at your role.
Just point for myself to learn. I'm like, yeah, good points there. So my next question is from Kashif Misiria, level 10 from Pakistan. By the way, Stephen Abraham is a guiding star for 2021, and so is Kashif. I'm gonna just point them out as they pop on my screen. So Kashif Media, level 10 from Pakistan, he asked, as you are widely known in the local guides community, have you ever been recognized and stopped and asked for a selfie or autograph in public?
Well, I guess, yeah. So I think it's what was it? It was the Local Guide Summit 2016, which is now known as Connect Live, although we haven't had it since 2019. I was actually on Lombard Street with my brother because we had arrived in advance. And apologies if you've already read my farewell post on Connect, but I met up with Chamnan and we both did the Spider-Man meme thing. I was like, hey, you're Chamnan. He's like, hey, you're Traci. And my brother's like, who's this guy you're pointing at? And we took a selfie, which was so cool. He was the first local guide that I had met for that event. And I was just so thrilled. And that was a really cool thing. And then I do have another story. My aunt works for a government agency here in New York City. And I used to have my last name on my Maps profile. I don't mind having my last name, but I've recently just changed it to Traci. I'm trying to be the next Madonna, obviously. So, so when she had reached out to my aunt and was like, hey, do you know Traci Cappiello? And my aunt was like, yeah, that's my niece. She works for Google Maps. And she's like, I saw her review for a bar in Bay Ridge and a funeral home in Bay Ridge. And I just wondered if she knew you. And I was like, yeah, that's me. So my aunt was like, kind of proud. She's like, yeah, I know her. But also my aunt was like, why are you reviewing funeral homes? And I was like, because it helps other people. Like, you want to know what to expect at a funeral home, right? So whether you're just going and you're like, hey, is this wheelchair accessible or is there parking? People who are choosing a place for their final farewell to their families also need to know, this place smells good or this place is awful. So just details like that. So I guess the moral was
you weren't like cruising for widowers, are you?
No, unfortunately, I was there to say a final farewell to someone, and I was not trying to find a husband. But thank you for your consideration.
The next question is from Pratik_89, level 7 from India. He asked, from all the travels that you've done, is there one place that has set the bar really, really high on accessibility that you feel makes a really good example for other places to follow?
This is something I've been asked a lot recently, which is very funny. I guess a lot of people are interested in that. One of the places that I visited that I was totally impressed with was Tokyo. So it was my first visit to Japan, and I don't know if this is consistent throughout all of Japan because I only had a chance to visit Disneyland, of course, and Kamakura, which is a little bit out of town. But I found Tokyo, just the infrastructure there is just phenomenal, right? The subway systems are all accessible. The streets are clean and free of debris. There are beautiful curb cuts. I just couldn't get over how great Tokyo was from a wheelchair accessibility point of view. And of course, wheelchair accessibility benefits folks who maybe use strollers, have mobility concerns, or like me, are clumsy and tend to sprain ankles pretty regularly. So I thought it was Tokyo. I hope I hope all of Tokyo is like the areas that I visited.
Fantastic. My next question comes from SP31, level 5 from Florida, USA.
I think I know that guy. Steve?
Yes, he's level 10 actually. He doesn't have a question, but he's giving a shout out here. He's saying, everyone check out the Go Loco Podcast YouTube channel and subscribe. Fantastic content awaits. So yeah, thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
The next actual question comes from Adam GT, level 10 from Australia.
I know him too, I think.
Yes. And Jayasimha78, level 10 from USA. He's a Guiding Star 2021. And they have a very similar question here. So they basically ask, of all the national parks that you've visited, which do you recommend that he visit on his on a plan? He's got a planned trip to visit his family in May 2022, May 2022, sorry. And he wants to know which of the national parks he should visit. And Jayasimha asked similar questions like, what's your top 2 national parks?
Okay. So this summer, I took a 31-day road trip throughout the United States, really the western states. And I have to say, Bryce Canyon National Park was absolutely stunning. It was one of those parks that you visit and you can both do a hike. I did a very strenuous hike down into Bryce Canyon and out. Getting down was not the problem. Coming out when it was noon and the sun was high in the sky and I finished all 6 bottles of my water, that was really tough. But even so, whether or not you can hike or prefer to hike, you can still get out, drive through the park on the road and get off on all the overlooks and have just stunning views. So I couldn't get over that. So that's number 1. Number 2, I have to say, I loved Acadia National Park in Maine. So they're very far apart from one another. So I don't know that you can do that in one trip, but I could not recommend Acadia National Park enough. It's another stunning park, but different. So whereas in Bryce Canyon, everything's like yellow and oranges and bright blue skies. In Acadia, it's bright blue skies, beautiful green foliage, beaches, and just like so many incredible things. So those are my 2 favorites, I think.
Fantastic. I'm not really an outdoor person, so I'm like, yay, but I'm like,
Really great photo opportunities, Adrian.
So my next question comes from Sonia K, level 9 from USA, and she asked, if you were not a local guide, in what other ways would you see yourself contributing back to the community?
Ooh. I have to say, over the pandemic, I got really involved with my local Buy Nothing community. And so I think I should actually have started up as even if I weren't a local guide, I would probably be doing the same things that I was doing before local guides, creating documents for my friends of where to go, what to do, and what to see from places that I've visited. So I should have started with that because that is always going to be a part of my DNA. But I would say, I think the way that I've been giving back in a hyper local way is participating in my local Buy Nothing community. And instead of donating all of my materials to like a Salvation Army or a Goodwill, leftover, I don't know, socks that are in great condition, but you can't wear anymore, or a board game you're done with. Instead, I post it on my local Buy Nothing page, and I'm able to give it to people who directly need it. And so that's been something that's been really great for me. And I've gone as far now. All of my family and friends know that if they have something that they want to get rid of, like ink that does no longer fits their printer, or my best friend just gave me a really nice winter coat, I post that on the group. So I'm essentially giving things away for everyone whenever I can, and I love that. So that's my little community crush right now too.
That's great. You do so many charitable stuff. It's amazing.
I think it's just nice to help others. I think it's well, thank you. Yeah, I don't I'm embarrassed by that. Thank you.
My next question comes from Batuk, level 7 from Mumbai, India. He asked, can you tell us more about your new role?
Oh, I would be happy to. So as I mentioned earlier, Jen Fitzpatrick, our former MAPS Senior Vice President, moved over to a new part of Google a couple of years ago. And it's really the team that builds all of the products that help Googlers communicate externally and all of those sorts of things. So I know it's a little bit more technical and I'm still learning, but I'll be working on a team within this new organization called Core that focuses on ensuring that Googlers are adopting and leveraging best practices to use things like our email system that all Google teams use. So I'm really excited to take my community experience and program management experience and turn it inwards and help Googlers and kind of be like an internal community manager, but by creating a brand new program from start. So I'm really excited about venturing into the world of customer engagement, and most importantly, just treating people like the humans that they are and figuring out what's most important to them and how I can help them. So I'm really excited about that opportunity.
Fantastic. So you did mention something there that was quite interesting, because you mentioned customer engagement, but at the same time, it's internal looking rather than outward, right? Okay. So in a sense, the customer is Googlers themselves.
Correct. I'll be working with Googlers themselves. So of course, that means I will really, really miss just being a part of such a publicly facing program officially as a Googler. But I keep saying that and I hope no one minds, but I'm still going to be around. I'll still be using the hashtag like it's my job. I mean, and I'll still be visiting Connect, and I'll still be contributing on Maps.
That's great. So my next question comes from David Heino, level 9 from Italy. And he asks, what struck you the most about the Connect Live events?
I think my favorite thing, and Adrian, you probably know because you've been to so many of them, all of them. But one of the things is that welcome reception when everyone is meeting for the first time. So I think for the Local Guide Summit 2016, I don't think anyone really knew what to expect. And not many people came in so far in advance to do activities together. So that first welcome reception just blew me away. The way you were all hugging each other and screaming from across the lobby, like, "Oh my God, is that you, Adrian?" I think that was like absolutely incredible. And then throughout the years, when the event migrated from the name Local Guide Summit to Connect Live, just seeing again, at the welcome receptions, the gifts that you all bring for each other and the amount of preparation and love you put into best representing yourself as a local guide and your countries, that's my favorite part. If we could have like a 10-hour welcome reception, I don't think that I would get enough of everyone's good energy. And not going to lie, the delicious treats that you all bring. Like, shout out to Paul and Penny for my caramello koala bears. I haven't had them in so long. I've forgotten what they're called, but they are my favorite.
Yes, it is such a. It's like an adrenaline rush. You go from like quiet, and then you see the first few local guys arrive, and it just goes. Phew.
Right.
And
And I know you hardly sleep just in general, but especially, but for me, I often leave after the events end because I need at least 2 hours to wind down from all of that excitement. So it's really hard because it's so fantastic, but you need some sleep to do it all over the next day.
Yeah. Well, you're organizing it, whereas we're not, so we have that excuse.
Sure, fine, I guess.
Sorry, dry throat here. So the next question comes from the real Christine. Again, a Guiding Star 2021, level 9 from USA and / UK.
Yes.
She's got a long, huge, large question here.
Okay.
Not what you were thinking, but basically it's a complicated thing here. And she basically asks, so I'll start first. Do you know the board game Candyland?
I do. I love Candyland.
Yeah, so she feels that your journey in the local guides program is like the board game Candyland. And she was asking, like, did you have like a set goal that you had to achieve that was set by the corporate? Or is it one of those that you kind of just journey your way through it all and kind of figure it out as it progresses? I do not know how that relates to Candyland, but
yeah. Well, I guess I can't, if I remember correctly, it's funny, I just played Candyland last Christmas, so I can't believe I've already forgotten it. As well as like the first 10 years of my life as a child, just 20 years ago, right? Because I'm super young. But in any event, I think, of course, like Google is very goals oriented, right? So we have objectives that we're out to set. But I think the most unique part is, for me, I was able to set a lot of those objectives with Connect and that's a really great thing. Some community folks are, asked by their leadership to get to 1 million followers on Facebook or 100,000 followers on Instagram, but it's set just kind of arbitrarily. So I think the great thing was that I was able to let our team leads know like what the vision was for our forum, what we can do with that. And that's just to name, one area of what I work on. So I think I have had that like liberty and that really great experience to kind of help to shape what our objectives were. And at the end of the day, it was really creating a great place for you all to connect with one another. And I'm happy that we have a good number of people who visit every month, that the conversations are largely positive. And I keep saying this everywhere, so forgive me, but Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. And I think Local Guides Connect is the happiest place on the internet. So I think we've done a really great job together, all of us, in making sure that Connect is this really warm and welcoming place that sets the standard for everything that a local guide does. So whether it's a meetup or Connect Live or just anything that you're doing out in the real world, I think it always comes back to Connect, even though not everyone is on Connect, because like this is the expectation. It's a good place. You can disagree with each other, but you can disagree respectfully. So I really like that about Connect. And I think if I had to say a goal was to have a really healthy community, yeah, totally nailed that with all of your help. So thank you.
I do have to disagree slightly. I think that the number one place that is the most happiest on the internet is cat videos. That's it.
Fair. Unfortunately, those are off topic on Connect, but if they weren't, we could have totally had like a Connect and cat video mashup. So fair. You can submit that in the idea exchange. How's that?
Will do. There's actually a tag-on question to this. What color piece would you be if you were to play the game?
Ooh, I'm going to have to do a quick Google image search because I know that my favorite colors are hot pink and teal, but let's see what the colors are in the game. Oh, okay. So if not, it would be that bright green piece. I really love green as well. And since that's one of the primary colors, that's a Candyland piece, I'd pick that. But knowing me, I'd probably add some glitter or stickers to it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, green is so much like hot pink, isn't it?
It's they're just, I mean, you know,
yeah.
it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. Okay.
Last two questions here. So Nyai Nurjana, level 10 from Indonesia. She asks, ketika musim Connect Live, pernahkah merasa lelah tersenyum karena permintaan berfoto bersama yang tiada henti dari Loco Guide?
Okay. Can we hit that Google Translate button?
I'm actually quite proud I read that out fairly correctly, I hope. Basically, she was asking that, do you ever feel tired from all the smiling during the Local Guide events? Because it's just, everybody just wants to take photos with you.
You know, it is funny. I think I've been having so many great conversations over the past couple of weeks that my cheeks have started to hurt. And it reminds me, and I was just thinking about this, it does remind me of the events. But no, I think if I'm going to have any sort of pain or ever be tired, it's not going to be from smiling. And if I am, my cheeks do hurt from smiling, that's okay. I hope everyone knows that. I don't think I possess a fake smile. Okay, that's a lie. I just took a passport photo and I think that smile was definitely fake because I couldn't use my whole mouth. I was like, so, you know, no, the answer is no. I don't get tired of that. And I hope that I never get tired of that. And if I do, I hope I go to a spa for 2 weeks and come back ready to smile until my cheeks hurt again. I'm okay with that.
Fantastic, fantastic. My last question is from Dr_LV Paul, another guidance star 2021, level 8 from Kerala, India. She asks, when there's a change happening in your life that's unexpected, unwanted, but you still have to deal with it, how do you manage it and how do you deal with that kind of situation?
Sure. So I think I'm totally transparent. I see a therapist and I think everybody should. And I think my therapist has taught me a lot of coping mechanisms. And, you know, there will always be things that are outside of our control, but I think it's most important to sit with that news or decision and really figure out how you feel about it. And then once you figure out I'm upset or I'm happy or I don't know how I'm feeling, to then kind of like track it back a little and be like, well, what about this is making me upset or happy or confused? And then I think you really learn about yourself throughout that process. So obviously, I hope that everyone in the world, including myself, always gets what they want within reason. I think we also need to be a little less selfish as a society, but that's a whole other conversation. And that's certainly why I love being around local guides, because there is no selfishness in that area. But yeah, I think it's just really figuring out how you feel about it and working through it. And then I'm an action-oriented person. So for me, I'm like, okay, well, what's next? I didn't get a car that I wanted. Okay, can I get a bicycle that I want? Can I get roller skates? You know, can I hitchhike? Just kidding. I don't advise hitchhiking, but you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's also more important in this past couple of years with all the lockdowns and the changes in what you cannot do and things like that. And people are really struggling with coping with working from home or being out of job and, you know, not knowing what's going to happen next. So yeah, I think like making sure your mental health is looked after is really important. So
absolutely. And you know, I think if you can change your mindset to being excited about solving a problem, that's always great. But also, if you need to scream, cry, punch a pillow, you know, stay home for a day, also that's okay too. And that's something I didn't realize was okay. Yeah, watch cat videos, adopt 47 cats, go to a local shelter and play on the ground with dogs if you're me. I mean, just do whatever it is that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one final question from me, and this is my fun question, so it'll be easy. Don't worry about it. If your life became a movie, who would you want to play you?
Ooh, this is fun. So, This is a really good question, Adrian. But again, I think I should go with like my first answer. And I was going to say Lindsay Lohan because I used to love her. Mean Girls Lindsay Lohan, because I think she's just beautiful. And I'd love people to be like, oh, this girl must look like her. But if Lindsay Lohan's not available, I would happily take Emma Stone because I feel like she and I would get along really well in real life because we're both kind of silly and goofy and she's really funny. So I think she would be great for me. So I don't know if I have red hair envy because that's the common theme here, but let's go with Emma Stone or Lindsay Lohan. Who would play you, Adrian?
I don't know. There's not enough Asian representation in the Hollywood in these days, so it's kind of hard to choose.
That's true, but it's trending upward, which is great for me.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Shang-Chi. So the movie. It's Simu Liu, I think is his name. So I did watch just to digress completely, but I did watch a movie on Netflix called Heart Love. And I thought it was more, it affected me more than Crazy Rich Asians. So Crazy Rich Asians, we all know like it was like the big Hollywood movie that has all Asian cast in it and stuff like that, which is great. But I grew up watching Asian movies, so to me it was like Hong Kong movies are like that. Hong Kong movies are huge. It's just that it was not huge in the western part of the country, western part of the world. But so kind of having an all Asian cast kind of didn't really have that big impact on me personally. But when I watched this movie on Netflix, Heart Love, it was an Asian guy, and he falls in love with a Caucasian lady, and I thought, wow, I've never seen a mixed couple relationship on like in a movie before. So it's really really weird, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. So yeah,
I've seen that movie too, and I think, and I just looked up his name because I wasn't sure if it was Josh or Jimmy. His character was Josh, but yes, and Darren Barnett as well has he is half Japanese and half American, I believe, and he's had a lot of representation in movies as well, which I think is also really great. But that was a great movie, and I'd love to see more movies like that. It just is so much more realistic and representative of our social circles and of course people. So that was a really cute movie though. So I like, can we both do a plug? Watch Love Hard on Netflix.
Yep, totally. So that's the end of the interview really, and I'm so thrilled. We've only spent 40-ish minutes on this, so thank you so much for your time. You've got such a busy last few days. December 16th is coming up, and I've seen you joining a lot of meetups with local guys, so that's fantastic. And I'm guessing that before you couldn't quite do that because you don't want to come across as biased. I don't know. But it's so cool to see you join all the meetups, and it's such an honor for the community to have you be part of them and to have you in the meetup. So thank you so much for doing that. And I know there's so many other things that you can do with your last few days. It's amazing that you're doing this.
I think it's important that my time on the team, started with local guides and is ending with local guides. So I'm so thankful that my bandwidth, my calendar is cleared up a little bit so that I have more time for this. And it's been my pleasure, and it's so great. I just want to say to watch all of the things that you've done specifically, Adrian, along with the rest of the community. I mean, you've had a podcast, a video channel, you've been doing global meetups, you've been just creating assets that other people can use. And if I could clone you, I would Control C, Control V you, which is copy and paste because I'm a dork. And I'm so thankful for this experience, and I can't wait to continue cheering you on, both silently on Connect and on social media. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to miss getting to talk to you every single day on Connect.
Thank you. Actually, one last question. What would you like to say to your team in this interview? I don't know. I thought that would be a nice way to kind of end it.
Yeah, I think team, you know what to do. You've been doing it, and it's everyone's community, but I feel especially proud, and I feel a lot of ownership over it. So I know you'll take care of my friends. Ignore Adrian. But yes, just, take care of the community and continue doing amazing things is most important.
Yay, she's leaving. Yay.
Thanks, Adrian.
I'm gonna get killed at the end of this.
Don't hit that dislike button. Hit it for a like.
Making sure that I'm recording, right? Right. So thank you so much for doing. Steve actually mentioned that he's gonna enjoy watching this interview because he knows me and he knows I'm gonna ask ask and say all the wrong things. So yes.
But you did not, Steve. I'm sorry. Adrian disappointed you. I think he's holding back, and it could be because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning for him. So, yeah.
I did hold back a little bit, but yeah.
It's okay.
Anyway.
We can continue this on Signal or Connect.
How can local guides continue to follow you online and just kind of stalk you from a distance?
Casually friendly stalk. Yes. I'm still going to be on Connect. I'm still going to be Traci C on Connect, and on social media I'm still jumping Traci, and I will continue to like your post if you hashtag it local guides or local guides connect. And yeah, I think that's the most important part of it, right? It's just being out there and sharing, and I'm going to still be here, so I'm excited. But I will give my team some room for them to take the program in new directions and have all of that ownership. So I'll try not to stalk you all too much.
Thank you so much, Traci. We are absolutely gonna miss you. We have one last meeting on the 16th. I guess we could talk about this, but I'm a Connect moderator, and we have one last meeting with you just before you go, and it will be such a weird meeting, I think. But I'm just really thankful to know you, and yeah, it's been a great. Sorry, I'm staring up. It's been a great many years of knowing you, and one of the things I remember most about you is that on my first, I can't remember which Connect Live that it was, but I'm actually quite. People see me as this fun, outgoing person, but I'm actually quite shy, introvertish person. But when I first met you in real life, and obviously we've already known each other on the Connect forum, and you just came up to me and gave me a hug. And honestly, part of me was like, what's going on here? It's like personal space. It's like, I was like freaking out on the inside because I'm like, a lady just came in and hugged me. I'm like, that's like all my boundaries. But at the same time, I thought that is like the coolest thing ever. So that's my fondest memory. So thank you so much
for sharing that. And I want, for anyone watching, I do ask permission, especially realizing I do ask permission. I hope I ask for yours, but I definitely do, because I know cultural differences are really important. I never want to offend someone, but hugging all of you local guides, especially you, Adrian, you're a very good hugger, is definitely one of my highlights as well. So, because we're friends. At the end of the day, we've all become friends, and I think that's something that no one can ever change.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And I think that is very symbolic of the local guides. That's very symbolic of the local guides program, that strangers come together. We share same passions, and we share our experiences, and we help each other out, and eventually we all become friends. And I think that's what's happened between the two of us, and I'm sure with many other local guides as well. So I'm just thrilled to have you be part of my life as well. I'm sure everybody else feels the same way as well. So just completely wish you all the very best in whatever you do. I'm sure you'll be successful. And when you're being played by Emma Stone, just remember us.
You guys are ingrained in my heart. I can't forget you. So thank you.
Thank you so much to all the viewers on the Go Loco Podcast YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this interview with Traci. She is absolutely amazing. And yes, she's waving the local guides flag not for the very last time.
Forever. I will have this.
Right. Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. See ya.
Go loco with
Bye.
us. Go loco with adventure. Go loco with us. Go loco with adventure. Your unofficial cast to all
Is there supposed to be music playing?
It's you, so yeah, there'll be a jingle.